Good evening. This is the 7 p.m. newscast on DBS television. Let's begin with our headlines for tonight. Following controversies concerning the shutdown of some schools in the Douala 1 municipality, that is particularly the nursery schools, the issue has been set straight and classes are set to resume tomorrow, Thursday. This is our sole headline for tonight. Get the details of this story as well as other stories in this newscast when we return in a fraction of seconds. Stay with us. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning on to DBS television for the 7 p.m. edition of the newscast in the English language. I am Cynthia Gwemo. And as we told you on our headlines, classes are expected to resume fully tomorrow, Thursday, in the Douala 1 municipal nursery schools after a moment of shutdown or disruptions due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Our reporter Mange Venasius tells us that this follows the intervention of the SDO for the Vuri division. Let's get the details in his report.
Fighting COVID-19 pandemic in schools in Vuri division has failed to be coordinated. This is clearly seen from the strategies adopted by the mayor for Douala 1 subdivision, Lenge Malapa, and the senior divisional officer for Vuri division, Mbotu Benjamin. While the former decided to suspend classes in all municipal bilingual nursery schools in Douala 1 subdivision for 1 week, such that the structures be disinfected and classes to resume on Monday, March 8, 2021, the latter did not see it appropriate. Going by the SDO, the mayor does not have such competence to suspend classes. All the same, the virus is there, and authorities have been disinfecting the campus. As this head teacher of the Besenge campus says, after the confusing notes, classes will resume this Thursday, March 4th, 2021. A situation that does not pose a great deal for them.
This will not be a major worry. As soon as children resume on Thursday, we will catch up, for the absence has been only from Monday to Wednesday. We can meet up. We have tried to explain to parents that it was only to disinfect the schools.
The head teacher confirmed that they have adequate kits like face masks, buckets, and hand sanitizers. Thus, may be early challenges of decentralization that authorities will need to work on so as to present a positive image of governance in the country.
Cameroon would soon benefit financing of a 3,000 low-cost housing project by the Pan-African Habitat Promotion Organization known as Shelter Africa. The announcement was made this Tuesday during a meeting with the Minister of Housing and Urban Development. Details with Ate Bonaventure.
The meeting between the Director General of Shelter Africa and the Minister of Housing and Urban Development is the first stage of his visit to Cameroon. The outcome of discussions between Andrew Chifonda and Minister Celestine Kecha-Kutes is news on Cameroon's hosting of the 40th Annual General Assembly of the Housing Organization.
I'm very happy to know that Shelter Africa will organize this 40th General Assembly in Cameroon, and as well as the symposium. We will talk about the evaluation, the review on what Africa did since the last 40 years.
The event is scheduled to take place in Yaoundé on the 24th of March.
We will invite finance ministers, we'll invite housing ministers across 44 countries in Africa to converge here in Cameroon so that we can discuss the challenges of housing, the challenges of financing low-cost housing. The intention is, at the end of the conference, we come up with a Yaoundé declaration that specifies how we as African governments are going to be committed in solving the housing crisis in Africa.
The Zimbabwean guest ends his visit with the signing of a memorandum of understanding for the construction of 300 low-cost houses in the cities of Yaoundé and Douala. Created in 1982, Shelter Africa is the lone Pan-African institution that finances and promotes the real estate sector in Africa, with its headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya.
The Jimom Council, that is in the Noun division of the West region of Cameroon, have on their turn received the SDO Donatien as he continues his contact-taking tour across the Noun division following his recent installation. While he used the occasion to swear in newly elected council executives, it was also a chance for the SDO to get first-hand knowledge of the needs and challenges of the about 24,000 inhabitants of Jimom, to which he declared his readiness to assist the mayor and his collaborators to alleviate. Here is Noun SDO Donatien as he talks about the aim of his visit in Jimom and his words of advice to local authorities and the population. His excerpt.
We had two major events today. We started by installing the mayor and its deputy mayors. We had the opportunity to give them some advices, asking them to work together hand in hand to promote the development of the area. We also advised them to deal with the traditional rulers to make sure that peace is reigning all over the municipality. To the whole population, we advise that they should go ahead with agriculture and livestock, since the mighty God gave them the opportunity, natural possibility with the soil that are very fertile, and livestock also can be well practiced by the traditional rulers. So if everything is done in peace that prevails, we think that at the final day we can acknowledge that this municipality is going up. They are not far from Fuban. So let them be prepared to receive the population from Fuban as it is going that way. So to have the various chief of services concerned who can help the municipality to develop the area with a survey, a good survey, so that we avoid indiscipline and other phenomena all over the municipality.
That was Donatien who is the SDO for the Noun division in the West region. And in line with the upcoming 8th of March, visually impaired women in Douala have received some training on socio-professional inclusion and the opportunities that the digital sector has for them. This was in a capacity building workshop organized this Wednesday by Ici et Là-bas, an NGO for the defense of rights of visually impaired persons. It comes in prelude to the 36th edition of the International Women's Day, an opportunity for women with visual impairment to understand that their handicap is not a fatality and that there are professional opportunities for them in the digital world. In the following excerpt, a representative from one of the partners of this association talks about their goals and delight to accompany Ici et Là-bas in this initiative. Let's listen to her.
We are a company which does not only deal with sales, we also deal with the sociable part. So we assist the disabled people, the blind people, the handicapped, orphans, I can say everybody who is in need of something. So we chose to come and see the president of this association because he called for us. When you call us, we come to you and we answer to you. It's an honor for us to receive this prize from the association Ici and Là-bas. We are so moved because we came to encourage the blind and the disabled people, and now we're receiving this wonderful prize. It's an honor for the company in whole. Last year, they invited us for the first time. We saw the efforts that the president is making to assist the disabled and blind people. So we came up this year again to assist him, encourage him, and encourage all the blind people that they are human beings, they should continue living, because that's the aim. We does not only assist people like us, but we assist also those who are disabled. Soticam is a sociable company.
Still in line with Women's Day celebration, women have been called upon to champion the fight against the spread of COVID-19 pandemic in Cameroon. This was the essence of a roundtable talk organized by the Regional Delegation of Housing and Urban Development here in the Littoral region. Details of this with Mange Venasus.
As a build-up to the celebration of this year's edition of Women's Day on March 8, 2021, women have been engaged in a number of activities and round-table discussions to edify themselves for their growth and that of the society. That was the case with women of the regional delegation of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development in the Littoral region. Being the brainchild of the regional delegate Patrice Biako, they were in a conference drilled on practical ways to respect the barrier measures to curb the spread of COVID-19 pandemic.
The women have been sensitized. The women have been reminded of their primordial role as the mother of the society. We have been reminded that wherever we are found, we are the ones that are supposed to make things happen, because first of all, the woman is an emotional being. And being an emotional being, she has a natural table master in her that makes her to be able to regularize things. So we have been reminded that no matter how difficult the situation is, we have that thing in us that is able to cause us to make people to respect all the barrier measures. We ourselves have been reminded that we need to be exemplaries of these measures. That is, we must not only sensitize our families, our husbands, our children, but we must be practical ourselves. Before we ask them to wear their mask, we must be able to wear our mask. Before we ask them to wash their hands, we may be able to wash our own hands as well.
This example, the women were told, has to begin from within. They should preach the message first in their families.
We were told that the woman has a natural tendency, even though the man is the head, the woman is the neck. That means that with a lot of diplomacy and a lot of wisdom, the woman can still bring her husband to respect the barrier measures.
Away from this, they will equally be involved in a week-long activities such as human investment, exhibition of the talent in preparing African dishes especially, and many others. In order to promote their physical well-being, sporting activities will equally be on schedule with feminine football. While looking forward to the nature of celebration, the government will prescribe for these women come Monday 8th of March 2021.
In another story, theologians and Catholic University stakeholders have been brainstorming on the issue of financial independence in the Catholic Church in Africa. This is in an international symposium organized to seek adequate solutions to some of the challenges that are plaguing the Catholic dioceses and parishes in post-independence Africa. Ate Bonaventure took part in the conclave, and here is his report.
Pope John Paul II, before his death, highlighted the need for the Church in Africa to start looking for ways to cater for its needs without counting on external donations. This colloquium is organized by the Theology Department of the Catholic University for Central Africa.
We used to receive many donations, the help of our church in Europe and in the United States and so on. And since many years, we are receiving a kind of a signal to say that this help will have an end. And the Church in Africa has to prepare herself to manage with our own resources.
The different themes under discussion include biblical concept regarding autonomy in churches, human resource management for a sustainable financial independence in religious institutions, and obstacles to financial and institutional prosperity.
This Congress is full of great interest for us. We hope that this research will help us to enlighten the situation and to have good modalities to express our capacity to be autonomous in this camp of finance in our church in Africa.
It is also an occasion to review the level of cooperation between the Roman Catholic Church in Africa and international partners and set new perspectives for a more resilient Christian mission.
Now let's move on to news out of the Cameroonian borders. In South Sudan, a plane crash has resulted to the death of at least 10 people in the capital, Juba. This crash is the second of its type that has occurred within a very short period of time, that is in recent years. Also, negotiations over the Nile Dam are set to resume between Sudan and Egypt, and which are to be mediated by the African Union as well as other international organizations. And over to the United States, the US and the European Union have laid sanctions on the country Russia over its role in the poisoning of Alexei Navalny and equally his imprisonment. This is in the Africa and World Roundup with Rogea Tububa, our intern.
In Juba, South Sudan, at least 10 people, including 2 pilots, have been recorded dead after a plane crashed at an airstrip in South Sudan's Jonglei State. The governor of Jonglei State said it was with great shock and horror to receive the news of the plane crash. The director of Juba International Airport said the plane crashed in a region where there is no network coverage, so it is difficult to confirm the exact number of casualties. This is the second such incident involving an aircraft operated by the regional airline. The first occurred in 2017 when a South Supreme Airlines plane caught fire and made a crash while landing. At a joint news conference in Cairo, the foreign ministers of Sudan and Egypt have requested to relaunch talks over Ethiopia's Blue Nile mega dam. The ministers expressed concern about the stagnant negotiations, stressing the importance of water security and preserving the water rights. Both nations demanded that the African Union, chaired by the Democratic Republic of Congo, mediate the negotiations. Mohamed Abdel Ati, Egyptian Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation, considers it as the country's commitment to safeguarding its water rights, and Sudan hopes the project will regulate annual flooding. The spokesman Ahmed Hafez said that Cairo had confirmed to the Congolese delegation that the proposed committee should include the representatives from the United States, European Union, and United Nations. The United States has imposed sanctions on senior Russian officials for what is described as Moscow's attempt to poison opposition leader Alexei Navalny with a nerve agent last year. Speaking on a conference call, the senior White House officials said the sanctions were being imposed in coordination with the European Union and urged the release of Navalny from prison. The United States is sanctioning 7 senior members of the Russian government, including the Director of Federal Security Service, as well as 14 entities that are involved in the chemical and biological industrial base in Russia.
We have come to the end of the news for Wednesday, the 3rd of March 2021. Thank you very much for your keen attention. We hope to see you again tomorrow when we return. But for tonight, stay on DBS Television and enjoy our programs. Good night.